This is Kirk Prine.
And Barbara Buckley.
And we're here to follow up with you about our musings on the mystic and mysticism and how it might have relevance to your life. I mean, for me, if I can't translate a concept into my experience and how it can change me in the world, then it's not something I'm very interested in. You know, aren't you that way?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So one of the things that Barbara and I were just talking about were just some themes that especially queer people, but all mystics, have had in common. One of those themes has been about inclusivity. You know, when you think about all the mystics that you can ever dream up, and in the last video, if you haven't watched it, we were asking you to actually think about who some of those mystics might be. But they were always bigger than their institutional ideas. So, you know, if they were Christians or if they were Muslims, you know, the Sufis, the Christian mystics, the Kabbalah people out of Judaism especially, you know, every religion, Buddhism has this whole group of mysticism that happens kind of through samadhi, with this whole experience of bliss. So every tradition, but they all had in common this direct experience with the divine and a more inclusive view than just the box out of which they were experiencing the path of the divine. Inclusivity, and what cooks for you about, especially for queer people?
Well, we know a lot about being excluded, so we certainly know the gift of inclusivity. And I think for myself personally, I have over the years of discovering the authenticity of who I am, and then reaching out to other people, it's been a path of learning to be more and more inclusive personally. So I think that thinking that there are guides and historical figures and mystics among us who can be supportive of me and others, you know, in my path to inclusivity, I think is very special. I really love this aspect of thinking about the mystic, and the mystic does not discriminate. And is that true? That's what I'm thinking. The mystic does not say no. No, you are not part of me. I don't want you.
Come.
You can't come. The mystic invites all of us to be together.
To find in their own way the divine, the divine's path, and the pathway to the divine. Absolutely. You know, what just got triggered for me is both Barbara and I also attend MCC and Metropolitan Community Church, and you just told a story recently as you did the communion table for folks, and I'd love for you. I think it's a great story to tell right now, especially as we start thinking about inclusivity.
Well, the story I told was related to my own expansion when I had the experience to go attend a service at a mosque, and I had never ever been at a religious service of Muslims before, and in our culture and in my own, you know, experience, I was kind of scared. You know, I wasn't sure that women were welcome, gay people were welcome, Christians were, well, I'm not a Christian, but anyway.
But
you know,
all those things, all those little hats that you've either worn or haven't.
And in the political world that we live in. And it was really an amazing experience. And on top of the service, which was a lovely service, which really invited people to have their own experience of the divine, really. I was quite interested in that. I also had the opportunity to share a meal with a number of Muslim men, and I said I came away from that feeling that I could never again see Muslims as other.
Yes.
I mean, I was connected.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had I touched them.
Yeah.
I shared a meal with them.
Yes.
I heard about their desires and dreams and fears, and their experiences of being excluded or discriminated against, as well as their desires to not be. So, it was really just a wonderful, wonderful reminder of, and actually it wasn't very hard. When I stopped to think about it, but it took some intention in breaking through my own fear.
Sure. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So in this conversation about mysticism, inclusivity, and as Barbara said, as queer folk, we certainly know what it feels like oftentimes to be excluded, but it also means that we have that great ability to be even more inclusive,
Absolutely.
To be what we call radically inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for us, that's one of the juicy pieces that I think is queer people, we can, at least if we allow ourselves, to see the beloved and the sacred in everybody.
Yes.
And knowing that everyone's welcome. But I'll leave you all with a piece of work before we close up this tape, and that is, who would you find that would be difficult to welcome in?
What a great
and that,
question.
And that's always the hard stuff. If we can talk about all the fun and pretty stuff with all the easy people, but who would you go, I mean, there are some people that I would call on the right wing. My body might, and at the same time, if I'm really being in tune with the oneness of the divine and seeing the namaste, the beloved in each person, all those folks are welcome too.
Yes.
So we all have some work to do, don't we?
We sure do. We sure do.
All right. Well, thanks for staying in, and namaste.
Namaste.